able to reach out to people and be very personable.
Okay.
We come from a generation, I don't know how old you are, but we look like we might be around the same age, where the church was very personable, meaning that you can go to your pastor or you
Correct.
can go to your deacon or your mother of the church and had a very personable conversation. We want to bring those things back to the church. And one of the ways in which we can do that is be in the community. Let people know we're real, that we have the same struggles that they have, same injuries, the same sickness, and those things. So, and hopefully with our lives, if we're overcomers, then they see that, then we can also let them know that they can be overcomers also.
I know we see a lot of mega church. And would you consider your church as a mega church? And if not, what do you prefer?
We're definitely not a mega church. Definitely not a mega church.
Yet.
If that is what God has for us, like Jesus said, let thy will be done.
Correct.
But that is not something that we're striving for. Our goals and our missions is to strive for souls, to win souls for the kingdom. If it takes one soul at a time, then that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
One thing about these mega churches that people get inside them and they get lost.
Correct.
And a lot of people use them to hide. No one building a church and planning a church is work. And we see now people want to come into the church, the house of God, with what I always say, they want the pews already padded, they want the AC working, they want the nice chandeliers, but somebody has to do the work.
Correct.
And a lot of times the small churches is where that's at. And if the Lord has saved you like he saved me, you don't mind the work.
Why do you say that? What has God done in your life that, you know what I'm saying, that you really are truly blessed with God?
One of the things I want to profess is salvation. God saved my life. I come from that world of addiction.
Okay.
I was in addicted to crack cocaine. I was an alcoholic. Did a lot of things I shouldn't done. I was in that world. And it was until I cried out to the Lord and asked the Lord to save me. And that's what he done. And one of the promises says that I made to God, if he saved me, I would go and help convert my brother. And that's the mission I'm on now. I'm just trying to tell people about the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
I know when we see a pastor, we figure that a lot of people like yourself, they're perfect. You know what I'm saying? And we really don't believe that you have a past as well. You know what I'm saying? You have not always been, and now that you've seen the other side, you can kind of like, you can relate to some of the people that are right now where you were at.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is a gap and a distance between some parishioners and some pastors.
Correct.
Only because pastors have never walked the walk that they are walking.
Correct.
I, on the other hand, have walked some of those areas in which I've just spoken about, and people can identify with that. And that's one of the things in which I always try to convey in my message, in my ministry, to make it personable that I've been where you are.
Correct.
And people can identify with you on a personal basis once they know that you have been through some things. Because sometimes we do want to give off a false image in which we have never done anything wrong and we've always been here, but that's not the case. That's not the case. Definitely not with me.
You know, we serve an awesome God.
Yes,
you
we
know,
do.
And like I told someone earlier, you're chosen. You're one of those individuals that was brought out. You know, because I was in addiction as well. You know what I'm saying? And so it's
Yes.
like a lot of people didn't make it out.
Absolutely.
So God has a purpose for our lives.
Absolutely.
And I see yourself, you know what I'm saying? You're going in there and you're going into that ministry and you're starting this church and you're telling people that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I can see, I can feel the pain because I've been through that pain before.
Absolutely.
I can relate to you.
Absolutely.
You know, and God really, you know, He knows that He has placed that into your heart
Absolutely.
so that you can, you know, when you see a child, you can't look down.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm definitely against people that talk down amongst people because we don't know why they're in the condition they are.
Correct.
Some of them have lost loved ones. Some of them have battled through addiction. Some of them may have a tendency to be suicidal. We don't know. We don't know.
Correct.
And as me and you that have come out of some dire straight situations, our first thing is to pray for them.
Correct.
Pray for them because we don't know why they're the way that they are.
Correct.
We're the fortunate ones. We're the fortunate ones that God has put His hand on us and allowed us to come out to go back and tell the story.
Yeah.
Tell the story, or allow them to know that, hey, if He done it for me, He can do the same thing for you.
Same thing. Because we're not no better.
We're no better.
No better. You
Our
know?
righteousness is as filthy rags.
Correct. Correct. You know,
know.
and that's the awesome thing about the God we serve.
Absolutely.
You know.
And that's the message we want to put out there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, so Pastor, what do you like most about the church that you're ministering now?
Well, because it is a small, personable church, then I'm able to talk with people and able to, I'm approachable.
Okay.
And that's one of the, I don't call it a gift. I guess it's just something about, I just don't mind talking to people.
Correct.
You know, because, you know, sometimes you'll see people, well, you know, that's the pastor, you know, don't bother him, or sometime I've seen it where you have to go through a bunch of channels to reach the pastor. You don't really have that with me.
Okay.
You know, if you want to talk to me, here I am. You can call me. I'm one of those types that, you know, I remember my old pastor. It didn't matter what time it was, when it was, what condition or state of mind I was in. If I called him, he answered the phone.
Correct.
And that was such a great influence on me in my life that I try to portray that also. Because when a person's in need as a spiritual vessel,
Correct.
they need us at that time. And that's what we're supposed to do. And that's what we're supposed to be.
You know, Pastor, you know, it's just, you know, I applaud you because of the fact that, you know, you're an example. You know what I'm saying? And when we see people that's in addiction, and like I always tell people, that's not the person, that's the drug that's causing the person to do.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you look at yourself and me, you would never believe
Absolutely.
that we were once them. And if you take away that,
Absolutely.
this is what you have.
Absolutely. And I come to find out that everybody on drugs doesn't want to be on drugs.
Correct. Correct.
They don't want to be on drugs. But the main word is addiction.
Correct.
They are addicted. And you just have to allow them or let them see that there is a better way. There is a better way. You know, one of the scariest moments I had in addiction was when I challenged myself to be clean or get away from this, was to go back into the old familiar ground.
Correct.
How was I going to stand? What was I going to do? Was I going to buckle? Was I going to fall? Was I going to go back into that lifestyle? But as they say, but God.
Correct.
But God. And He allowed me to come out of that. He allowed me to stand. And that's what we're here to witness. that God can do it. If he can do it for me, he can do it for you.
Your family.
Mm-hmm.
How important to have that family in your life right now, especially in your ministry?
Family is very important. Very important. I think that's the foundation to all of our success.
Correct.
Anyone that is successful, I'm sure that they can tell you plays a very important role. I myself come from a large family.
Okay.
There were 8 of us. I'm the youngest out of the 8.
Okay.
So I had a lot of influence on a lot of older brothers and a sister.
Okay.
And we learned through them what to do and what not to do.
Okay.
Because we see it. Right now, I'm married. I'm married, going on my 10-year anniversary.
Okay, congratulations.
Have 4 sons who are at that age where we have to, with all that is going on in society,
Correct.
have to pay close attention to them because they are sons and black males. Mm-hmm. So we want to focus in on that pretty much. But family is very important to me. And family is very important in ministry. We pray for them each and every day. But a young person has to find their way. Mm-hmm. They have to find their way because a lot of times if we think we're laying out the roadmap for them, we'll find that they'll go off track.
Correct.
So, it's best for me to kind of channel them along, but at the same time, they will have to make their own decisions about the brickwork or their foundation.
I know we have a lot of, I know you said the young males, especially black males, mm-hmm. not only your sons, but the ones that's in your congregation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you talk to them about what's going on in our community and how should they deal with it?
I talk through life experiences. And the thing about it, from what I'm seeing now, from what my grandfather and my father and myself, we all kind of going through the same thing.
Correct.
It's just a different time. And kind of warn them, don't be, pay attention. Mm-hmm. See how it's set up, see how it's going. You don't have to be entrapped in that lifestyle if you choose not to be. There are rules and regulations in which they have set before us and guidelines in which we have to follow.
Correct.
And we should follow those to the law. But at the same time, be cognizant of the fact that what is going on around you. Don't be naive, because in a lot of situations, which I've come to understand through my young adulthood, it's almost as though you're set up to fail.
Correct.
You're set up to fail. But you can overcome those things mm-hmm. if you set some things in place. Mm-hmm. And one of the things in which you can set in place is great mentorship.
Correct.
People telling you things. In a lot of my situations, even though I come from a heavy male-dominant family, a lot of things I had to find out on my own. Mm-hmm. With my sons, I decided to take the approach different. Talk to them, tell them things. Tell them your pitfalls, where you fail at. Tell them what to look out for. Now, whether they adhere to it, of course, they'll have to make their own decision. But I think communication is great.
Mm. I know in our younger generation, they deal a lot with peer pressure. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids that want to do negative and they want you to join them. What do you tell your kids, your young youth in your congregation about not being a follower but being a leader?
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly, be a leader and not a follower. You don't have to. You can set the example. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing to find your identity.
Correct.
Be your own person, because eventually, as you get older, you're going to have to be coming to your own anyway. Correct. So that was great. Be a leader and not a follower.
And I think a lot of times we take for granted that it only takes one bad decision mm-hmm. that can mess your life up for a long period of time.
Yes.
Just one bad decision. And And the thing about the God that I serve, He gives us a choice between doing the right thing and the wrong thing. But there's repercussions to your actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.